on this special Magic Round edition of the BD Footy Wrap Up. We'll go through all the main talking points surrounding all of the games played in Brisbane. Were the Titans rolled by the bunker? Did the Sharks Roosters clash lived up to the hype? Was there light at the end of the Rabbitohs tunnel? And what's next? What's next for Parramatta after they shockingly sacked Brad Arthur? Plus also injuries. So more big injury news ahead of State of Origin and suspensions as well as we go. And we also go through the stats as well of this year's Magic Round compared to past years. Yes, it's gonna be one hell of an edition. Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and welcome to, as I said, the BD Footy Wrap Up NRL Magic Round edition. So we're gonna talk all about the NRL Magic Round. For all you guys that are AFL fans, I'm sorry this is not the episode for you, so you might as well click off this video now. So we'll go through, all the usual things, suspensions, injuries, and whatnot. Go through all the for me, the big talking points from the weekend's matches. Go through all the statistics that of Magic Round, total crowd attendance from all 8 games, points scored, tries scored, all those works. And plus also I'll be teasing an announcement which will be announced in the next episode of the BD Footy Wrap Up. So watch out for that. Watch out for that at the very end. So as I pull my laptop forward here, so let's get to the controversial one first, because that after what happened in the events surrounding the Titans Knights game, it really got me fired up. Which was the try that was scored by. I'm trying to get it up here. Hang on, let me try and remember this here, which was of Brian Kelly, I think, that he scored the try, scored a miraculous try when one of the Titans players miraculously kept it in when all the Knights players wanted the ball to go over the sideline. Bat it back into play into Brian Kelly's hands and went on to score. It was actually blown as a try. But eventually the bunker said, nah, we're taking a look at this, and actually reversed the decision and called it a no try. Which got me fuming near the end, where I even said, I'm not saying that they were robbed of a win. I'm saying that was the best possible scenario, because it was even called so late that what's his name? Let me try to remember his name here. What was it? Josh Shoop? I believe. No, Aaron Shoop. It was even called so late that even he was actually about to kick the conversion, and then the rest said and did that, and then went to the bunker, and it was actually called a no try. But I did, as I said, if you watch the Magic Round match review of the Titans Knights game, I did an explanation where, for me at least, and I'm still on the impression of this, I still think it's a try because, and I still think that the people up in the bunker from the camera, I don't know if they had an actual camera angle which Fox League couldn't show, because it's different, because it's the same with the NRL with the bunker and the AFL with the arc, where they have camera angles which for some reason the NRL with Fox League and the Nine Network's case, and with the AFL's case with Channel 7, with the 7 Network and Fox Footy, that they, for some reason, they just can't show. I presume, and yeah, maybe they got a better camera angle, but for me, from the angles that I've seen, I think it's a try. Or even because, not saying that it was actually properly a try, I would have said that up in the bunker, there is insufficient evidence to suggest that he has lost control of that Brian Kelly has lost control of that ball when putting the ball down, because what the bunker was basically calling it off was his palm of his hand here had not made contact with the ball as he was going down, as he put the ball down. Like, you ever know, underneath all those bodies, he would have had his freaking fingertips on the ball. But for the bunker's case, nah, that's not enough for us to. That's not controlling the ball. Boom, no try. And even I said afterwards, they've either one, they've robbed the Titans of a win, and two, robbed us as fans of the possibility of a game going to Golden Point, because there was a lot of those tight games where it possibly could have gone to Golden Point. There was the Warriors Panthers game which that could have gone to Golden Point but didn't. There was the first game between the Raiders and the Bulldogs that could have gone to Golden Point, but obviously, of course, the Bulldogs didn't have the composure at the end of the game to basically get that try and conversion, to the opportunity to get that try, to hopefully and a chance of getting it to Golden Point. It could have been a Golden Point in the Seagulls Broncos game, but for Jock Maddock, obviously converting that 1-point field goal with 5 minutes left in the game, and then Brisbane held on. That could have been that chance, because where Shoop was going to shoot from with that conversion, I was like, I don't think he would have converted it anyway. So that would have been a chance that possibly it would have gone to Golden Point. And you never know, the Titans would have won the game. And I get why Des Hasler blew up in the post-match presso about it. I get it, because the last few weeks they've been involved in so many of these games. Most of them they've lost, but there's some of them they have won. With the example of the Anzac Day game against the Warriors over at Mount Smart Stadium. So I get why Des Hasler is blowing up about it, but yeah, because that could have sent the game to Golden Point, and probably they would have had the opportunity to win the game there. So I see why he was absolutely blowing up about it. I could see it that way. So as I said, my decision was there was insufficient evidence to suggest that Kelly had total control of the ball or not as he went to put the ball down. No insufficient evidence. And as I said, I'm still on this, that the bunker was judging judging this thing on the fact that the palm of Kelly's hand did not make contact with the ball. But if you look at it but you never know. Maybe as I said, underneath all those bodies that were there, he probably would have had his fingertips on the ball. I mean, But just to round off this topic real quick, because I covered it mostly in that match review. Go back and watch it. By the way, I might at some point in the video maybe put it at the top if I'm bothered in the editing suite afterwards. But yeah, it was. I mean, boy, it was. Yeah. I said after the game as well. It was a great game too. It was a great game too. It wasn't the only game that had this during this round two, where you would have one team for 10 minutes dominating the game, and then one thing happens like a penalty or a sin bin or something like that, or a set restart, something like one of those three, that basically has the old pendulum swings back the other way into the other team. And it was the case in this. I mean, the Knights were 10-0 up after 10 minutes, and all it happened was a simple forward pass that changed the whole complexion of the game, where the Knights scored 24 consecutive points, and suddenly just like that, they were what 24-10 up at half time. I think it was 24-10. Yeah, it was. It was 24-10 up at half time. So, just like that, I thought in the first 10 minutes, I thought, oh, geez, this is looking ugly signs for the Titans. Just like that, within like 30, about half an hour, they were up 24-10, and suddenly the pressure was back on the Knights, and then suddenly the Knights made the furious comeback when Armstrong completed his hat trick, and they reeled off what was it, like 18 consecutive points towards the end, and while on the other side of things, not conceding a point at all in the second half. So yeah, but as I said, it was a good game. It was a great game. That unfortunately was one of those great games that was marred by bunker controversy, and all us fans hate that. I even said it after the game. I hate it when matches when matches are decided like that through bunker controversy, and as I said in my review, what pissed me off was other people's Cooper Cronk said that they made the right decision. Then I switched on the next morning on the Sunday, or watched a bit of the Sunday Footy show. Ironically, when they were talking about this, Andrew Johns said they made the right decision. Billy Slater said they made the right decision. Freddie Fittler said they made the right decision. And I was like, bullshit. Like, how can you make that decision? Of like, oh, I agree with that decision. Like, why would you agree with it? Because, they're judging. I think they're judging off the same thing. They're counting about the fact that his palm of his hand was not. If you go back and look at that footage again, you could see very clearly that the only thing that is clear is that his palm of his hand is not. Palm of Kelly's hand, I think it was left hand, I believe, is not touching the ball, and that's what the bunker's based off of, and what the commentators had come off of, have judged this off of, and that is since his palm of his hand's not in contact with the ball, he's lost control of it. So that means it's no try. Even though there might be the possibility that as I said so many times, I can say it again, underneath all those bodies, he would have possibly his fingers on the ball. So basically, as I said, there's insufficient, in my opinion. If I was in the bunker at that game and that decision went down, I would have said there is insufficient evidence to say that that the ball was controlled or not, and I would have said try confirmed. So yeah, So just to end it on that, I think for me that were they robbed of the win? Sort of. Were we robbed of a golden point finish? Absolutely. Absolutely. That we were robbed of a big finish in that Magic Round game by some bunker controversy. And you could tell why Des Hasler blew up about it in the post-match press conference, and why I blew up about it in my match review. You could just about tell about that. So second rant about this one over. Let's get to some more. So let's talk about what I considered before this round the match of the round, and that was the Cronulla Sharks Sydney Roosters game, where the Sharks entered this on a 6-match winning streak. The best defense in the league, while the Roosters came in this with winning their last 3 matches when they scored combined scored out of those 3 games scored what I think it was like 140 points or something, which was insane. So the best defensive team in the league versus the best attacking team over the previous 3 weeks, over the last 3 weeks, doing battle, and did it live up to the hype? I watched all this game. You bloody oath, right? I watched all 8 games of this. I watched all 80 minutes of this game. You bet I did. And did it live up to the hype? Bloody freaking oath. Flaming oath it did. I mean, if you have a game that had 68, that was a 68 point, 11 try, 12 out of 13 conversions, 12 conversions shootouts, then, from the 12 13 combined from both teams from the tee, shootouts, then yes, it did live up to the hype. And plus also the momentum swings were just outrageous in this game. Like you'd have, for example, like you had the Sharks score first, and then then the Roosters score back, and then you have a penalty. Then they'll be pegged back again. Boom! It was just basically like back and forth. It was just a back and forth struggle a high scoring struggle between these 2 teams. And it wasn't until the 78th minute when Thomas Hazelton scored a try in that 77th minute. That was basically the backbreaker, and that was it. And that was game, set, and match there. With Nico Hines scoring that conversion and made it 38-10. That's 38-30. That was it. That was it right there with that game. And obviously, of course, Hines was at his best in this game. Sam Walker, obviously, of course, also was at his best. Dom Young, obviously, at his best as well. Mulatalo as well. I mean, looking at the list here, of course, you got the side. You got the likes of Ronaldo Mulatalo. You got Nico Hines. You got Hazelton. You got Kafusi, Nakora, Talakai, all these guys. And then of course you got the Roosters when you got the likes of Tedesco, Tupou, Sula-Awi, Dom Young, Kiri, Walker, JWH, You got Crichton in there, Victor Radley. You got Brandon Smith. You got Terrell May in there as well. So I forgot also Lindsay Collins in there as well. So who's going to be probably an important player for the Maroon side in Origin this year. So it's quite obvious, really, that it is it's quite a So it was full of stars on the show for both sides. They simply delivered in spades, and no wonder it led to having 68. It was at 68 points combined out of this game. 11 tries out between the two teams. 12 out of 13 off the tee for in terms of for both teams. And yeah, so pretty much. Did it live up to the hype? Bloody oath it did. So pretty much, so this was, not surprising, really, that it ended in the way it did, in the way it did, and the right team won in the end in the Sharks. They were slightly the better team over the course of the 80 minutes of the game. So to end this topic off here, did it live up to the hype? As I said, to flame and oath it did. So let's it's a kind of a match that I would watch again over the off season. No, I'm not joking about it. I would actually watch that definitely. Moving on to a team that surprised me, even though they suffered another defeat. They surprised me in a way that how they performed against the Cowboys on Saturday night when I was expecting it to be an absolute blowout. And that is South Sydney. Because obviously a couple of weeks ago, of course, they sacked they sacked Jason Demetriou several weeks ago, and it was announced during the week that Wayne Bennett has apparently signed a 3-year deal, $3 million, 3 years, a mil a year deal over 3 years, I should say, to rejoin South Sydney as coach, because basically he was coach at that side before he went to the Dolphins, and now he's rejoining them again. So I think for me, and when they were there was a couple of times in that match when they went 10-0 down, I thought, oh, here we go. This is in the early part of the match. I thought, oh, here we go. This is gonna be another South Sydney mauling, absolute mauling. But credit to them, they worked their way back into the game, and then when they were, what was it, 24 to 14 down. Again, down by 10 points again. We all thought, they've had their time in the sun. Now it's time for the Cowboys to really storm away and maybe hit them for 40 or something like that, and make it a massive win. But in credit to them again, they really did, fought it out. Really, and Damien Cook's try near the end made it pretty interesting at the end of the day, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. So it leads me to the point where I think for me that they're getting there. I think that they're getting there, and I think for Wayne Bennett seeing these results out of Souths would give him major confidence leading into when next year comes around, when he does properly take over. But I'm not sure if that's actually that report of actually him signing for 3 years on on $1 million a year for 3 years. I don't know if that's confirmed. I think that is confirmed. I don't know. I don't know about that, but yeah. Oh, excuse me. I think for me there is light at the end of the tunnel here for the Rabbits, and hopefully they do grab more wins and hopefully get themselves off the bottom of the table. Of course, and moving on. So moving on to the last topic here before we move on to injuries and suspensions and that, and other news as well. Talk about something that had just transpired over the course of this week. Post game against of course, obviously it was after the Rabbitohs game on Anzac Day against the Storm that led to Jason Demetriou getting sacked. Few months later, Brisbane mauled another team, which was undoubtedly Parramatta on this case, and their coach got the brunt of it. And what I mean brunt of it, I mean getting the sack. In this case, it was Parramatta coach Brad Arthur. So pretty much his contract, which I think he had about a year to go on his contract, I believe, was ripped up, was terminated, and got the sack, which was surprising because I did hear rumbles about his future, but I never thought that the Parramatta hierarchy, I never thought they would go for it, to be honest. But if you look at their statistics from after the 2022 grand final, you can tell why that the Eels hierarchy have pulled the pin on Brad Arthur. You can just about tell with that. I mean, last year they missed the finals with a record of 12-12. Record of 12-12, but they were a game outside the 8. I think they were at the time by the time the end of the home and away season. And I think they were out of the top 8 for pretty much all the season, all the home and away season in 2023, and then now at the time of his sacking, they are now 3-7, and they're 14th on the ladder, and they're surprisingly enough they're 2 games actually. They're actually 8, 10, 12. They're actually 2 games behind. Only 2 games behind the Roosters and the Knights, who are on 12 points. But they've played one more game than them, and they haven't. They've played one more game than them, and they haven't even had their bye yet. So basically, that's 3 games. So that's basically all their finals chances almost all but over in the end. There, the report is that that Trent Barrett will take over. Will take over the coaching role. We still don't know if it's for the end of the season or until the end of the season, or is it just for a 3 or 6 game period. We don't know, but yeah. So what's next for them? Obviously, they've still got injuries as well, and also when I reported that, as I reported it in, as I will report it in my Melbourne Storm Eels match review of Magic Round. There was reports made that Mackay Sibo, I heard, is reportedly wanting out of Parramatta, and apparently the rumour is that North Queensland are interested in him. to basically to improve their attacking options. That is the word that I have got. I might try and find that. Might try and I'll try and find that now. So, yeah, so here we go. So I might try and find that now. So Micaiah. So yeah, here we go. 0 tackle. So yeah, this is what I have got. This is what I've got in place. So 0 tackle. I might actually do that on 0 tackle. Sevo. No. Oh. Yeah. So here we go. So this is what it came out. So I'm going to read this article here now. So this is what I read. This article. It says Eels reportedly looking to move on winger. The Parramatta Eels are reporting looking to shop winger and Micaiah Sevo out of the club. So one is looking for an out, and two and the club's looking to see where he could go. It says here, so I'm not going to do all of this. I'm not going to read all of this article here. It says here it's believed that the North Queensland Cowboys do have the appetite to bring Sevo to the club as they look to revamp their own outside backs and add depth to an area they have struggled in. So, but there's a but to this though. But that apparently it is reported that they have no room to move in their salary cap. So they have to. So apparently, it says here that his contract with his wages with. It says here the 30-year-old Fijian is currently contracted till the end of 2025, so he's got 1 year to go after this year on his contract. It says that on a deal that is believed to be worth around $550,000 a year. So yeah, apparently they don't have, the Cowboys at least don't have enough room for that in any ways. And apparently, it says here 2 years worth of contract. So there's a lot more issues there than just issues there for them than just, and then just Brad Arthur getting sacked. There's also Mitchell problems on the injury front with Mitchell Moses recently. And he's just coming back from that. And also Sevo potentially going out, and potentially maybe there might be more players there going to and from Parramatta. But yeah, so that is the big issue there on that front. And so as I said, what's next for Parramatta, but what's next for Brad Arthur? Well, I've got my own suspicion about this. If I was the Dolphins and Wayne Bennett's out on the way out, I wouldn't mind pick up the phone, ring Brad Arthur, and say to him, could we have a meeting? Just saying. Just a meeting. I'm not saying that the Dolphins could potentially be interested in Brad Arthur as coach. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just for a meeting. And if he says no, then it's a no. If he says I'm interested, because look at their list here. I mean, looking at their list here. I mean, surely if Brad Arthur looks at this Dolphins list, if I can pull it up, I mean, you got Mate, look at this here. You got these names here. You got Anthony Milford. You got Hamiso Tabau Fado. You got Herbie Farnworth. You got Isaiah Katoa. Jermaine Sacco. You got Felice Kafusi. The Bromwich brothers. You got Thomas Feigler. I don't know if they've got more players coming in next season. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's been. I don't know if they. Okay, let's go. Do they have? Do they have game? Oh yes, they do. Junior Tupou, Junior Tupou from the West Tigers, also Whanaki from the Cowboys as well. So if you look at that, and then also last year was all they added Feigler and Farnworth and Avarillo as well from the Broncos and the Bulldogs respectively. If you're Brad Arthur and you look at that list, you go, did I achieve the most out of the list at Parramatta? And then compare that as like, what can I get out of this? That's what I'm thinking. With the likes of this Sacco and then of course the Hammer in there as well, Farnworth, Feingler, all these guys. Of course the Bromwich brothers as well. Could I get more out of that? And I think for me, if I was Brad Arthur, I would say yes. And sign on the dotted line. As I said, I'm not saying that it's not been reported as of yet of who are the Dolphins interested in as coach. Because obviously it sounds like Wayne Bennett back to the Rabbitohs as coach is pretty final. It's very final. So I think for me on that front as well. Yeah. So I'll be and if it is true that eventually at the end of the season that Brad Arthur does go to the Dolphins as coach, I'm pretty much a freaking psychic or a freaking psychic genius, and just basically because I had that thought during this week. I thought maybe even after when in the aftermath of Arthur's sacking from the Eels, that what if, for example, the latest that the time that bit of, I can't remember what it's called, that he's confident he can get the Dolphins to where he couldn't get the Eels to, which was obviously a premiership. They were close to it in 2022, but obviously were destroyed by that champion team in the Panthers. So yeah. So could they be that? As I said, at this point in time, there is no reports about who are the Dolphins interested in as coach, and it'll only be a matter of time before the end of the season. Well, maybe after the final series, because it looks like the Dolphins basically are heading towards their first final series in their second season. So pretty much, on that front. But yeah, so it's going to be a pretty lean time for back on Parramatta's case. It's going to be a pretty lean time for them. But I won't be surprised if Brad Arthur gets a lot of offers. To coach. A lot of offers to coach in a lot of ways, pretty much. Yeah. So moving on to the injuries that came out of Magic Round. The big one, obviously, was of Storm 5'8" Cameron Munster, who apparently is going to be, which is reported he's going to be sidelined for up to 8 to 10 weeks after re-injuring his troublesome groin that he's been in trouble with all season. Which, by the way, doesn't require surgery, but unfortunately for Maroons fans, he's going to miss the entire State of Origin series, unfortunately. So that's another big name that's going to miss Origin in 2024. I remember watching the match, and I saw him when it looked like he was in awful pain. It looked like. And it looked like he thought maybe it's just like, oh, maybe it's just like a corky or something like that. So he tries to run it off, and then when he got stuck in the tackle, that's when it's gone. And I thought to myself, oh my god, he's torn it. And I watched on the Nine Network, and even Andrew John said he's torn it. He even said it, and it was like, oh no, it's not good at all. Especially when he's starting to come back. And I didn't know until it was mentioned during the Nine broadcast of this game that he was actually playing with this injury. So I won't be surprised. It does say in the 8 to 10 weeks. But if I was Craig Bellamy, and because he's been battling through this injury all season, and I've heard he's actually been playing it. If I was Craig Bellamy, I would say, I know it's 8 to 10 weeks, but I'll be resting you more. I don't want to see you back until later in the season. I'll see you in finals. Because yeah, or in last year with Ryan Papenhuyzen's case, be back for the last couple of home and away rounds. Because us Storm fans, we want a Cameron Munster that is 100% fit, and I'm surprised that because it was reported he's been carrying this injury throughout the last 3 matches ever since he's come back. He's been carrying this. I'm surprised that there's not been any criticism over the fact that they've played him while he still has this groin problem. I still don't know how. Really, and because of it, he's going to be sidelined for 8 to 10 weeks, and I'm not going to be surprised if it's necessarily it's going to be more than 10 weeks. Let's put it that way. And also misses the whole entire State of Origin series. He's going to be one of the more important players for the Maroons when it comes to Origin. So he's going to be gone there. So yeah. So moving on from that, of course, so you got New Zealand Warriors hooker Wade Egan is going to be facing time on the sidelines after failing his HIA. So that means he's going to be entering the NRL's concussion protocols. Speaking of injured players, speaking of important Origin players out with injury, might be one for New South Wales too, with the Knights centre Brandon Best, who was subbed out of the game at half time due to suffering a hamstring injury, but he is still hopeful to be available for Origin selection for the New South Wales Blues. So hopefully it is there too, because we want the best playing Origin. That's what Origin's for. To have the best playing for both Queensland, playing for Queensland or New South Wales. That's what Origin's for. So yeah, and to have another important player be sidelined, that would be a big shame, because we already had Ponga, Cleary, now Munster out. So yeah, and then Knights. Now another one here. Knights for Jamie Jolliffe is out for. It will be. Is going to be sidelined with suffered an injured pec during the game against the Knights. And if I see here, yep, those times here, it says here that and it was later reported that it's going to be a massive injury. He's going to be out for up to like 12 weeks or so with that injury. So it's going to be a long time out for him. And then also Seagulls forward Matt Lodge underwent surgery on a suspected torn bicep, which was successful, and which means he'll be out also for up to about 12 to 13 weeks with that. So yeah. Now for suspensions. Raiders forward Josh Papali was suspended for one match for grade 2 dangerous contact. I presume that was the incident that caused his sin bin on Friday night. And West Tigers duo Brent Naden and Justin Olam both got suspended for one match for separate grade 2 dangerous contact offences. So both of them were suspended for the same offence, which means they'll be missing next week as well. So to move on to the statistics here, obviously, massive crowd that was over the 3 days of the 2 on the Friday, 3 on the Saturday, and 3 on the Sunday games there. 149,196. That was combined out of the all 8 games. An average crowd attendance per game over the 8 games of 49,700, which was insane. It's about up by 700 on 2023. They're the only two that had a crowd in excess of 140,000 people. The top two all time in terms of most crowd attendances of Magic Round. Not even close. The next best was 134,000, which was in 2019, pre-pandemic. So yeah, on that front there. Other statistics as well. This is actually the second highest points scored combined out of all 8 games, with 381 points. Still about 40 points behind the most points scored combined out of all games in Magic Round in a single year. That was in 2021, where 422 points were scored out of all 8 of those games, with an average of 26.3 points per team per game in those 8 games. And also it was the second most tries that was scored in Magic Round history, with 67 tries, just nipping the 2019's total, but nothing's going to beat 2021's tally, of course, with 75 tries combined out of those games, which is insane there. And the one thing also I want to put up with before I move on to the final thing I want to talk about is during the one thing I noticed when I was watching the Storm Eels game was Andrew Johns saying something about the game, about the flow of the game, about attacking, and it's great for the fans, and this is why they have these sort of numbers of 49,000 packed every game, and all that. It's because it's not just because we want to watch guys like Harry Grant or Cameron Munster or Ryan Papenhuyzen or other ones like Latrell Mitchell, like Nico Hines, all these great players. All these great players. It's how the game is played. That's how it's getting butts on seats, and getting people to get butts on seats. That's how it is. And the way that games were played during this round, it was just entertaining, thrilling and entertaining as well. Yes, the couple of games were a bit underwhelming. But in the case of the Sharks Roosters game was the epitome of basically what the game is now. Well, it's not like what it was. Not like it's to the extremes of what it was. Let's say back in the early 2000s, where it was just basically all out defense. That was the focus. There's still a bit of defensive tactics are still involved, but it seems like they're getting more of the scoring back. And I think and I've noticed that over the last few years, ever since they've added in this set restart rule, ever since that's come into play, that scoring has just started slowly going up again. It's the same thing with the AFL, where when they added in the 666 rule in 2019, and then 2 years later adding the stand rule in. I know it's probably the least favoured rule, but since then you can't argue that the flow of the game, it's just gone up. And flow of the game, and also the scoring has started going up. So I think for me that's so that's what I noticed throughout that game as well, so hopefully it's the same thing throughout the course of this season. So one more thing before I end this episode here, and that is I will be making an announcement on the next BD Footy Wrap Up episode. I'm not going to make and it's going to be about the future of the series, about the future of the immediate future of the series. I'm not gonna tease anything, but there is going to be an announcement made about it. So just watch, just watch it, just basically just tune in for it, please. So so that's pretty much it for this Magic Round edition of the Footy Wrap Up. It's just an amazing Magic Round. At least unlike AFL Gather Round, I watched all matches. I watched all of Magic Round. Because with Gather Round, I watched all but one game, which was the last game that I watched, was Collingwood and Hawthorn. So which I'm still yet to actually watch back. So like this video, share it. So like this video, share this to anybody who's a Cronulla Sharks fan, who's a Gold Coast Titans fan, who's a Parramatta Eels fan. Comment down below. Do you agree with the topics that with my opinions on topics that I talked about in this video? Do you disagree with them? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And one last thing, somewhere down there, somewhere, click on the big red button which is labelled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see yous all later.